This month's Radio ISR features Chris Law on how to close a deal using a game show principle.
What I do is I ask the whole family to come into the showcase showdown, and they can win a car type thing. And at this point, I'll recap all the features and the benefits that we spoke about to try and get a little bit more value in it, and then I'll ask the family to bid on the price.
We're also going to look at what's new at Harley-Davidson for 2016.
This thing is unbelievable. We showed up and kind of blew our minds that, they're unveiling the new line, so.
And our very own Jason Vermont just gets back from Vegas and tells us all about the Chrysler dealer launch.
We really got to see a handful of impressive new vehicles that are going to be launching within literally the next 6 to 24 months. The big news, more than anything else, we got to see the Barracuda.
No way.
It's going to be here.
No, really? It's not a concept?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Not a concept anymore. They rolled out a convertible that was just absolutely beautiful.
And then finally, I'm going to give you some tips on how you can become really good at email leads. Number one, the most important one, by a mile, time is of the essence. Again, I mentioned it earlier on. Some people are out there shopping and it's like a whirlwind for them. They're trying to get as much information as possible. And if you delay in getting back to them, they could probably end up on being in somebody's office. So it's going to be an action-packed show, so make sure you stay tuned in. So now we're going to cover what's new at Harley-Davidson for 2016. This is a very, very exciting time of the year when we get to learn all about what Harley-Davidson has in store for us. So, great news for us. We've got two virtually brand new Sportsters coming for 2016. There's a redesigned 883 Iron and a redesigned 48. So I'm going to cover in a few minutes and pick sort of the best sort of features that I can see on the bikes. So the best part of this redesign for 2016 is the redesign of the rear springs, which are completely adjustable, and also to the front shocks as well. So depending on the load of the bike, you can really kind of adjust the bike to make it firmer, stiffer if you like a nice sporty ride, or you can make it more comfortable as well. And so this is the 883 Iron, and as you can see there, it definitely looks a lot leaner with its blacked out look. This particular bike has a nice black gloss paint job, and you can see there's a lot more blacked out features on the bike as well. In addition to that, it's got a new designed seat, which is a lot more comfortable and looks good on the bike. And it has a little throwback there. You see the air cleaner looks like the old bobbers. And then finally, there's a little picture of the adjustable rear spring, which has been improved for 2016. And as I said, 48 has also been redesigned as well. And you can see there, it has a sort of a meaner look about it. There's no doubt about that. You can see the tank's got new graphics on there. The little 2.1 gallon fuel tank. You got a new redesigned seat. And there's a little close up of the new design on the pipes as well, which look pretty cool. Now here's a couple of new bikes that are definitely going to get our customers excited, and these are new S models. And as you can see there, they've been added to the Fat Boy and also to the Slim model as well. Now the big news about this bike is you can get standard the 110 cubic inch engine. Now normally you would have to bought a CVO in the past, so you'd have spent $30,000 to $40,000 in order to get the 110 motor. This is going to be the first time ever we're going to be able to get this on a regular production bike. And as you can see there, not only will it have the big motor, but you can see like on that Slim there with the nice redesigned, it really is a real throwback to the old military bikes. In addition to all its cool looks, bike now comes standard with electronic cruise control, which is a first for the Softail models, a standard ABS and a standard factory alarm system. So great value indeed. I'm going to watch a little video here. It's going to run through some of the key features in regarding to the Slim. And there you go, the new Softail Slim. I'm sure with the way this olive green paint job and the throwback to the military, we're going to get a lot of action on this. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. Now another old favourite is the Heritage Softail Classic. In addition to some nice nostalgic features being added to the bike to give it that sort of retro look, it also now comes standard with the bigger twin cam 103 engine. That's the high output engine. And you're going to find that standard in all Softail models and all Dyna models as well. In addition to that, they've put cruise control on there as standard. And then they've also resorted out the luggage bags as well with better support structure inside. Now, a bike here that's come back again is the Road Glide Ultra. The Road Glide returned last year. Now they're doing an Ultra version for 2016. That's pretty big news. Now, believe it or not, there's more miles logged on this bike than any on the Harley Davidson. Basically means is that people who buy this bike ride more than anybody else, and that's because of the way the bike handles, the way it rides. It really is a great long distance tourer. So for 2016, it receives the Ultra treatment and gets all the nice features you'd normally expect on an Ultra version of this motorcycle. Now here's some other news as well you'll find interesting for Harley Davidsons. The Harley Davidson Street 750 and 500 have received minor upgrades to their brakes. So basically they got larger disc brakes front and rear, which will really definitely help with the ride and handling of that bike. As I mentioned earlier on, the high output twin cam 103 is now standard across the line, not only on Softail models but also in dyno models. And the only motorcycle that doesn't receive the bigger, more powerful engine is the Street Bob. And then finally, as I said earlier on, cruise control is now standard on a lot of the Softail bikes. The Harley Softail Classic, the Softail Deluxe, the Fatboy S and the Slim, but it's also available as an option on the rest of the Softail bikes. That's great news as well. And then finally, these are the 3 limited CVO bikes that are returning for 2016. So you get the CVO Road Glide Ultra Limited, the CVO Ultra and the CVO Street Glide. So there you go. There's your news on the 2016 Harley Davidsons, and I'm sure it's going to be another successful year for us. So I've got Jason Bermanto on the phone, and Jason has just come back from Vegas, and he wasn't there on a holiday. He was actually at the Chrysler dealer launch, and he's got some really exciting news for us. So Jason, can you share with the team what's going on at the moment at Chrysler?
Yeah, I definitely give you a sneak peek of what's going on, and I actually wish that I was able to have my cell phone brought in there, but they have metal detectors before you even go into these meetings, so they confiscate cell phones and everything else. So wasn't able to snap any pictures for everybody yet, but yeah, we've got a lot of exciting things that are going on with Chrysler. You know, overall, they gave us a business picture overview from where they were in 2009. On the retail sales, they only did 1.3 million that year, and in 2014, we're up to 2.8 million in retail sales. It's an amazing story. 64 months of consecutive growth. And over that same time frame, they've been able to put out 70-plus new vehicles and products. So, of course, that's, you know, different buzz models and other things along the way. But we really got to see a handful of impressive new vehicles that are going to be launching within literally the next 6 to 24 months. So a lot of things for our crew to be excited about to sell in the near future.
Tell us about the new Compass. Did you see that when you were there?
Yes. So one of the vehicles that they're not quite naming yet will be the replacement for that. And the easiest way for people to get a picture in their minds is a little bit more compressed Cherokee. No question that the manufacturer is starting to see the value of keeping certain vehicles that look the same and just making them either a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. So we've got a real winner that's going to be out there on the horizon.
And any other kind of products that we'll be getting sooner rather than later?
Everything from the Chrysler 200, which we are really starting to smoke those, selling them faster than we ever have. There's a couple really cool special edition buzz models, if you will, on the 200 that are going to help us this year. On the Chrysler front specifically, an impressive town and country, something that is long overdue, and it's going to be considered the most technologically advanced vehicle that Chrysler has put out there. A multitude of different tech features that will keep mom and dad happy as well as the kids. It looks like Chrysler is going to even give this an 8-passenger seating option.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so some cool things there. 28 MPGs was what they were talking about right now. And believe it or not, we're going to get into the electric conversation, and it looks like a late Q2 electric minivan. And they were estimating 75 mpgs on the on that minivan with only a 2.5-hour recharge. So some cool things there with Chrysler. There was even a preview of a full-size Chrysler CUV as well. Chrysler, within the branding and for everyone that's out there, Chrysler is going to be a lot more of the volume play that's out there. And Dodge is going to be then more the performance. And we saw a lot of cool things from the Dodge front.
Was it true that they might be building a rear-wheel drive Avenger or sort of replacement for that? Is that any truth in that?
Well, I can give you some real interesting news on that front. What they're going to be doing is not the Avenger, but what they're going to do is launch a Dart RT.
Yeah.
But they're also going to be putting a turbo option out there across all the models in the Dart lineup. So if you want a Dart with a big engine at any trim level, is what Chrysler was telling us, we're going to have that to be able to include for our customers. So very exciting conversation there, with Dart and, an engine that can really hum. The big news, more than anything else, we got to see the Barracuda.
No way.
It's going to be here.
No, really? It's not a concept?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Not a concept anymore. They rolled out a convertible that was just absolutely beautiful. And we're going to see a new Charger that's out there as well. So there's some amazing, amazing product coming down the Dodge pipeline that is 100% a reality at this point. So
between these, new, let's say, Patriot Compass or whatever, and the minivans, I mean, what type of time frame should we start thinking before we start seeing these?
What I think we're going to be looking at is anywhere between the next 6 to 24 months. I think some of the quickest ones, though, you'll end up seeing will come on the Jeep front with the 75th anniversary editions. That's always been a big deal for us with being able to sell these. Jeep typically will add a lot of additional content into the vehicles. So this year they're going to focus on Wrangler, Cherokee, and Grand Cherokee. So we've got some immediate content that they're going to launch at the January auto show that happens in Detroit. And from there, you'll get to see the full plan. But there's stuff that we can almost reach out and touch. Obviously, we want to sell the metal that's in front of us right now. But for any customers that are starting to ask the questions, we've got the real answers now.
Yeah, for sure. And, it's good for the boys and girls at home to get that confidence in the product as well. That, it's not just about selling today, but really understanding there's a grand plan, and they'll keep on developing as we go along. So there's a great future for us as well,
Something that we should be extremely excited about. And not only that, but, in my 6+ years now with the company, seeing Chrysler's real commitment to the quality. We all know where Chrysler originally was as far as some of those, what they would say were the soft touch points where you could maybe cut your elbow on them. Now we've got some exciting product that's out there with real luxurious interiors and vehicles that everyone can be proud of, both on the inside and out. Sergio Marchionne has really lifted this company and has a forward vision to drive this brand, far, far up from where they are right now.
The future's bright. The future's Chrysler, huh?
Yes, it is.
Good.
I'm proud to be the product manager behind it, and always here to support our guys out in the field that are making this a reality each and every day.
That's great. And Jason, before I let you go, is there maybe anything else that you'd like to say to the boys and girls at home?
Yeah, there's actually one other model that I know that we've get those occasional emails from time to time asking about the old Grand Wagoneer. There was a rumor that might be also coming out, and it's coming out. It's going to be the Wagoneer. The price point is going to be a true full luxury SUV. So the competition that they talked about was Range Rover.
Yeah.
I think from a pricing standpoint, we should be at least thinking that Cherokee Summit Plus.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Grand Cherokee Summit Plus. But we've got some really exciting products that everybody has been asking about, and they're here.
So there you go. That was Jason. And as you can see, there's some exciting product in the pipeline. So I can't wait to see more of this in the future.
Are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat?
What I'm trying to find out here is that can we do better with the email business that we get? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how we're doing at the moment. Is there any room for improvement? What challenges do we have? Can we categorize these leads? And are there any proven methods of increasing the closing ratios? Now, the average closing ratio in the area that I'm responsible for is 20% on email leads. And that's versus about 40% on face-to-face. So basically, 1 in every 5 people that we get an email lead on it put a deposit down, versus 2 in every 5 when it comes to good old face-to-face. So they're definitely worth something, that's for sure. I have in my area probably 6 to 7 ISRs that have a closing ratio of anywhere between 36 and 62% on email business. And then I have probably about the same number of ISRs that have a closing ratio of 10% or lower. So you can see a massive disparity between the two of them. And then the rest of them kind of sit in the middle in that kind of 20% area. So is there room for improvement? Well, clearly there is, because if we can get everybody up to that 36% to 62% level, we'll be all laughing, that's for sure. So realistically, what challenges do we have? Well, of course, number one, most of us prefer face-to-face interaction. There's absolutely no ifs, buts and ands about that. We all love customers to come into us. It's much easier to get your point across, be able to sell your wares when you have somebody in front of you. There's other of us that are gun shy and we don't like cold calling. Now, although this isn't cold calling in the sense of you're going through a telephone directory trying to talk somebody into something. I mean, needless to say, the people who've left an email lead and left their telephone number have asked to be called. But some of us are gun shy and we just don't like making those telephone calls. And obviously there's an element of D2, disillusioned learner. You fired off many email leads and get no responses from them, so you see no value in them. And then finally, you can admit to yourself you're probably not very good on the PC or your writing skills. Can we actually categorize these leads and actually break them down to see if we can make sense of them? And maybe there's a strategy behind each of them. So first of all, we get plenty of email leads, and these come with telephone numbers, and they have their FO and vehicle specific. The next set, we just get an email address, but a lot of them are FO and vehicle specific. And then finally, we get some that have little or no information. So let's talk about the ones with the telephone numbers and that are FO and vehicle specific. We should probably all agree that they're probably all very hot and they just really need a telephone call to get things set in motion. I think that's pretty much the agreement that we have, and certainly the feedback I get from the top ISRs who work these. And you got to keep it in mind is that unlike the good old days when we had telephone directories and so on and so forth, if you got a customer who really wants to get in touch with the company, that's kind of how it's channeled nowadays. So if they're leaving their telephone number, they're telling you what vehicle they want, really and truly, you need to be getting on the phone and getting these people in front of you. Number two, they just got an email address, but they are still FO or vehicle specific. And again, these people are probably very hot or extremely interested, one or the other. However, they're going to need some timely and professional interaction from you. The worst thing you can do with these customers is basically send them an email saying, listen, I got your quote, come on by the office. Or, I'm not going to give you anything until you come in and see me. I mean, that's not very professional, and it's not what we're advertising on our website we will do for the customer. So really and truly, whether you like it or not, start putting some quotes together, get a hold of the customer in a timely manner, and set the ball rolling. And then number three, they have little or no information. And of course, put yourself in the customer's shoes. These could be Google ads, for example, where we're just basically saying, if you want a quick price on something, give us your details and we'll do that for you. And these customers just want to get a price. That's what we're advertising, and that's the minimum you can do for them. You can't just send them emails, the same thing, saying you need to come by the office before I give you a quote. It's your job to get these people what they want and at least get some information to them. Now we're going to talk about some proven methods of increasing closing ratios. And these are again from my top performers out there. So, number one, the most important one, by a mile, time is of the essence. Again, I mentioned it earlier on. Some people are out there shopping and it's like a whirlwind for them. They're trying to get as much information as possible. And if you delay in getting back to them, they could probably end up being in somebody's office. And I'm sure everybody has a story of, I tried to call him, but I found out he already put money down somewhere else. Proves the point. Time is of the essence. Number two, I got a tip from Matt Moles. This is really clever. Print the email lead out and then tackle it from there. You get the email that comes through Outlook, take a moment, print it out, put it in your desktop, read through all the details. If it's got the phone number, pick it up and call from there. If it's got the customer details, tackle it straight away from there. Number 3, try to build rapport with the information you have. I know a lot of us use these templates and they're all pretty much the same. But you got to take it from, the other point of view is if you keep sending templates out to the customer and they're not very personal, they think it's a computer just getting back to them. So you really got to take that time and try and build some rapport with it. And there are various ways to do that. If the customer's looking for a minivan, then maybe you can say to the customer, okay, I can see you're looking for a minivan. I take you got a large family. Will you be doing traveling? If they're looking for a 4-wheel drive for delivery in Grafenweer or Vilsec or somewhere like that, then maybe the customer is interested in making sure that when the winters come and they've got good transportation. So you can kind of get into that and kind of understand the customer and try and build that into your initial emails that you send out to the customer. Number 4, use Owner Support Plus in Chrysler's Dealer Connect website. So what is Owner Support Plus, I hear you ask? Well, this is a phenomenal feature, and I dare to say this is the best thing since sliced bread. So I'm going to give you a little tutorial on it now for those of you not familiar, and you can see how it works and what a great feature it really is. Now I'm going to give you a little run through on how this feature works on the Dealer Connect website. So I'm going to show you the end product first. And then after that, if you like the idea, I can send you exactly how you can get signed on. So very simply, here's a typical email template that you can send to your customer. And it's like, hi John, thanks very much for your email inquiry about the 2015 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. Here's the savings. And then please see attached copy of the full spec quote. So that's when you would then put, of course, the quote on there. Plus, click here if you want to see all the great features that this Wrangler comes with. And what's great about this feature is that once you've got a VIN number for a vehicle, you can show exactly in videos what this vehicle actually comes with. And it's not always exactly the same. So if you put in a different VIN number in there, it shows you specifically for that vehicle. It is a really, really clever feature. So let me show you what I mean. So your customer reads that, says great, good savings, brilliant, the quote's attached. You got all the little benefits down the bottom. Let's click and learn a little bit about the vehicle, which you can of course do. So just click here. And as you can see, it brings then your customer, or your prospect, I should say, to a different website. And this website then shows the key features specific, as I said, to this vehicle. You can see the VIN number up the top on it, and this will be absolutely specific to it. So if the vehicle has sunroof, it has 4-wheel drive, or whatever the specific features are, it's now going to show videos for that. So as you can see, on the right-hand column, you've got select videos if you want for the electronic stability control, the full frame doors for this particular Wrangler, steering wheel mounted audio controls, hill descent control, hill start assist. I mean, there's so many videos here that can do the selling for you. So for example, let's go hill start assist. So you can see there, you get an overview video, you get a how it works video, giving you all the features, how it works down below. And like I said, this can go feature by feature. You can look at something like the XM radio. What's great about that? And again, the same thing, gives you a video, an overview, and another one then basically how it all works as well. So this is very, very clever. And this feature will do the selling for you, which is great. So your customers are very detail oriented, really would like to get as much information as possible. Really and truly, you can put it all here. And when I say it literally takes about a minute to develop the link for each individual vehicle, it absolutely only takes about a minute when you're good at this. So there you go. There's some great tips there now how you can improve your email business. And I really hope that this little tutorial and what I've gone over here really helps you improve your closing ratios and helps you make some extra money. Till next time.
I've been playing hard, so no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Lately I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be.
Now our next guest on the show is an ISR that I actually know for a long, long time. He used to work in Germany and now he's doing a stint over in the UK. Not only is he one of the top selling ISRs that we have in Europe at the moment, but in addition to that, this guy you would consider a bit of a technophile. Absolutely loves everything to do with electronic. He's a whiz around building websites. Pretty much anything to do with computers, this guy is an absolute whiz at. So without much further ado, let's give Chris Law a call in Mildenhall, UK. So Chris, how are you doing today?
Perfect, Paul, thanks. I'd say it's a beautiful day in Mildenhall today.
Oh, is it? The sun shining?
No, it's pouring down.
Typical UK weather.
Yeah.
Chris, I got a question for you. How long have you been selling cars with OMSO?
Well, I've been selling since 2001. That's when I joined in June 2001 in Grafenweer with John Warren. He took me under his wing and really taught me how to sell cars all that way back.
And you had previous car selling before you came to us, is that right?
Yeah, I used to sell cars for a car supermarket where I used to start it off as the test drive kit. So what would happen is the salesman would be working with the customer, and then I'd have to go out on the test drives with them, and my job was just to talk to them in the car and find out a little bit about them. I actually learned quite a bit from customers doing it that way, and then I got promoted to salesman, and that was a bit of a realization, the difference between the test drive kid and being the guy that actually sells cars.
Wow, that sounds really interesting, that is. Do you still go on test drives with your customers now?
Yeah, we do them, yeah, all the time. It's just a nice way because you're not in the office with the customer all the time. If you're out on the drive, they tend to relax a little bit, and you can have a really nice talk about the cars and themselves.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a great area, that is, really, to really sell the car, which is what we do. So, Chris, what is it you like about selling?
Well, I guess there's a lot of things I like selling. I guess it's the thrill of the chase with the customer. Even after all these years, it's a good feeling when you get a customer that says, no thanks, man, I'm just looking around. And then you start talking to them, and you get them in the chair, and you're doing the presentations and things, and you can kind of start seeing them getting warmer, thinking of ownership, and then the buying signals start, and the deal's about to happen. You can't really beat that feeling. That's a good feeling.
I agree, absolutely. Chris, I've got a question for you. Are you a gearhead, or do you feel that's actually necessary to be successful in your line of work?
I'm as far from a gearhead as you can get. I mean, I love cars and bikes, but I'm a kind of how they all the features and benefits. I'm not a how they work kind of guy. I love all the technology in cars and the toys. I like to look through the window and see all the goodies. Like the big radios and the big dials. I'm sure a lot of my customers are kind of like me. Being able to explain all the features and benefits on point and how they all work, that sets me up just as good as the gearhead guys. Like a strong presentation on what the product can do sells just as well as how it can do it. I find that works a lot for me.
So, Chris, You've been in the job a long, long time, right? And obviously the specs and the options are constantly changing. How would you stay on top of that?
That's a good question. We all have like yearly training on vehicles at the banquets and things like that. But I find I have to devote time at my office researching, building, and reviewing the new product. I use Milkwart a lot when there's a new product release. I'll build a few options, a few variations of the vehicle, have a look at the equipment and the packages and things like that. But then I like to go onto Google or YouTube and actually look and see how the features and everything work. Cool.
What do you think makes a successful ISR?
Well, to be successful in this job, you really need to commit fully to the job. This isn't a normal 9-to-5 job. We sell cars primarily at our locations, but we still have customers that are in the States or maybe on swing shifts. So we need to be available for them. Committing to being available for your customers 24/7 is very difficult, but it's important to being a successful ISR. I have to be motivated to get up and get out there, be ready to take that call on my day off or late on a Sunday night. If it's 9 o'clock in the evening and somebody sends me a text message, it takes 2 or 3 minutes to respond to. My cell phone's on from 7 in the morning to 11 at night, and all my customers know they can reach me during those times. And I find that being available after hours lets my customers know I really am there for them before, during, and even after the sale. And it really helps me close those extra few deals.
What would you say the military customer has changed over the years since you first started selling cars?
Our customers have changed a lot over the years. Back in the day when, we were kind of the only ones on base with information on cars and on financing, that kind of stuff. These days it's completely different. Our customers have access to as much information, if not more, than we do, which makes our selling challenging again. Back in the day we would sell cars that were on the ground ready to go, and now we're seeing people who maybe not ready to buy today, but they're open to the idea of ordering a car for a year, if not 2 years out. Okay,
I'm going to put you on the spot here. It's a question I've never asked before, When closing deals, do you have a special close that works for you? Have you got something that you do certainly differently than maybe most other people don't do?
For sure. I mean, if I have a family in and they're all kind of interacting with me, then I like to use what's called my game show clause. So basically what we do is we sit down and we have a little chat with the family and the kids and everything, and just take a few minutes to really get a comfortable conversation going. And then what I'll do is we'll start to build up some quotes, and as I'm doing this, I make very sure to keep it nice and light, have a little bit of fun, and then really dig down into the features and benefits of the vehicle as I'm building it. It takes a little longer to do it, but it creates a lot of desire in the unit for the whole family. And once I've got everything in place and I'm kind of getting to the closing stage, I'll ask them if they want to play The Price is Right. It's kind of a little game show that we do. What I do is I ask the whole family to come into the showcase showdown, and they can win a car type thing. And at this point, I'll recap all the features and the benefits that we spoke about to try and get a little bit more value in it. And then I'll ask the family to bid on the price. Normally starting with the kids, because they'll throw out crazy pricing. You know, they kind of go really high, and then I'll ask mum and dad to put their bids in. And 99% of the time, the customers will kind of give me a price which is higher than our milk quart price. And if they say to me, there's a price which is lower, I'll say, you know, really with all those features and benefits we talked about, and kind of just jokingly get it across. And then once I've got all the family bids in, I'll cross one out and I'll say, you know, unfortunately you lost. And then I'll have another one. I'll say, well, you've lost too. And then I'll have mum and dad bids in front of me, and I'll play the two of them off against each other and ask them if they want to kind of gamble or stick with their price that they have. And then when they stick to the price, I'll print out the quart, print it all up, go over the milk quart with them again. And then at that point, I'll say, well, who was higher, who was lower? And I can then say, this is the real price. And a lot of the customers will turn around and say, wow, actually, that's a lot cheaper than we thought it was.
That's good to hear.
So kind of get them to buy into the price.
Yeah.
It sounds complicated, but it's a really easy way to close a deal. It's just important to remember to do all the features and benefits of the vehicle and then involve the whole family in the game.
Essentially, what you're doing is you're making you're presenting the real value of the vehicle, what everything has on there, and you're letting the person then basically explore in their mind what they think they should be paying for it. And when it's less, then obviously then they see it's a good deal for what it is.
Exactly, and it's a fun way of doing it because it takes away the selling side of it, so to speak.
Brilliant stuff. Well, Chris, I really appreciate you taking the time out and going through this with me. And I'm sure the boys and girls at home will be very interested in this, and hopefully they'll pick up some stuff that makes them successful in the future.
All right, brilliant.
That's it for Radio ISR. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to the next time.